Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel, I hope. Everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Susan Noles spills real reason for Golden Bachelor divorce. Susan Noles is spilling some tea about the real reason behind the Golden Bachelor divorce. She was a contestant herself on the premiere season of the show, and even officiated Jerry Turner and Theresa Nist's wedding. While the wedding was fast, most were excited to see these two hard launch into their future together. It was a shock to many when things came tumbling down so quickly. Now, Susan is sharing more insight into what she believes was their downfall. Keep reading to find out more. Susan Noles shares thoughts on Golden Bachelor divorce. Susan Noles recently appeared on the Jess Cagle show with Julia Cunningham, where she dished more on the Golden Bachelor divorce. She has obviously spent a lot of time with both Jerry and Theresa and knows them fairly well. They all became friends after their time on the show together. Now that Theresa and Jerry are divorced, Susan is sharing what she thinks happened that ultimately ended their marriage so fast. According to what Susan said, Theresa Nist did not live up to her end of the arrangement. She reportedly told Jerry Turner that she was going to quit her job and move to Indiana. If not Indiana, the two were also talking about moving to a mutual destination such as South Carolina. Susan said, "I got to support this man a little bit. I feel like he got the raw end of it. Theresa decided not to move and not to quit her job. He got frustrated. Who can blame him? I mean, I would have never said I would move to that place. You know where that is. It's in the middle of nowhere." Susan appears to be one of the few who took Jerry's side in the divorce. Of course, there are other rumors and speculations about why Golden Bachelor Jerry Turner and Theresa Nist ended their marriage. Someone heard they ended it because Jerry didn't like her attitude about destroying land to build new businesses and communities in Indiana. These are all just rumors, and Jerry and Theresa have not revealed the real reason behind their decision to divorce. Many feel like they should not have rushed into things and waited to get to know each other longer after the show ended. Do you think Susan is right and Theresa backed out of moving? For months, Bachelor Nation was left scratching their heads, wondering what could have possibly gone wrong between the golden couple from the Golden Bachelor. The romance between Jerry Turner and his radiant bride, Theresa Nist, had all the trappings of a fairy tale. The golden roses, the tearful declarations of love under moonlight, and the televised "I do" that warmed even the most cynical hearts. But then came the shocking announcement, divorce. And who better to give us the real tea than fan favorite and firecracker Susan Noles? The former contestant, with her signature platinum blonde hair and Philadelphia sass, is no stranger to speaking her mind. She's been quiet about Jerry and Theresa's split, until now. But in a recent podcast appearance that's already blowing up the internet, Susan cracked open the story like a bottle of champagne at a Jersey Shore bachelorette party. Let's just say, Susan began, with a mischievous smile, "What happens in Costa Rica doesn't always stay in Costa Rica." Wait, Costa Rica. According to Susan, things started to unravel long before the official announcement. In her words, the cracks were already showing during the wedding planning. And I would know. I was supposed to be helping with the dress fittings and ended up being the unofficial marriage therapist. Susan, who's known for her dry humor and uncanny resemblance to Kris Jenner, didn't hold back. "The real reason," she said. "Jerry had one vision of retirement, and Theresa had another. Apparently, Jerry envisioned quiet lakeside mornings in Indiana, complete with fishing, early bird specials, and watching Wheel of Fortune at 7 p.m. Theresa? She wanted Miami Beach, art galleries, and hot yoga with a side of pina coladas. They were in love, sure," Susan said. "But they were also in love with completely different futures." And then Susan dropped the ultimate bombshell. Jerry thought he was marrying a golden retriever. Turns out, he married a flamingo. The audience erupted with laughter, but Susan was serious. She went on to explain that Jerry, for all of his Midwest charm, started showing signs of discomfort with Theresa's very active social calendar. Theresa wanted to go to Italy. Jerry wanted to go to Menards. And while opposites can attract, Susan hinted that Jerry became increasingly overwhelmed by Theresa's energy and her ever-growing presence on social media. She started going viral, Susan noted. And Jerry? He hated that. Susan claimed there were tense moments behind the scenes during the weeks following their live wedding. Arguments over relocating, clashing daily routines, and even thermostat settings. He wanted 68, she needed 74. You'd be surprised what ends a marriage, but sometimes it's the little things. Like leaving wet towels on the floor or never learning how to use the espresso machine. But then, Susan paused and gave a quieter, more serious look to the camera. Honestly, she said, they tried. They really did. But I think Jerry fell in love with the idea of love again, not the reality of it. And when that fantasy faded, he panicked. It's the kind of emotional honesty that only Susan Noles can deliver, bold, but tinged with compassion. She even admitted that she confronted Jerry after the split was announced. I said, "Are you sure this is what you want? Because you're about to be the most roasted man in Bachelor Nation." And he just looked at me and said, "I don't think I was ready for this kind of love." Susan didn't excuse his actions, especially the public nature of the divorce, but she sympathized. "Look, we're not 25 anymore," she said. "Falling in love at 70 is like trying to do yoga on a moving cruise ship. You can do it, but there's going to be wobbly moments, and sometimes you fall." Susan also admitted that Theresa was heartbroken, but not broken. "That woman is a phoenix in pearls," she said. "She's going to rise out of this with better hair, hotter dates, and probably her own show on Bravo." Of course, Bachelor Nation lit up after Susan's interview dropped. Fans flooded social media, praising her honesty and begging for her to host a reunion episode where all the golden contestants could finally tell their sides of the story. Can we please get Susan to host Golden Bachelor? The untold truth? One fan posted on Twitter. Another wrote, "Susan Noles is the fairy godmother we didn't know we needed." And while the divorce may have ended the fairy tale, Susan believes there's still hope for golden love. "Just because one story ends," she said, "doesn't mean the book's over. There are plenty of chapters left, and trust me, some of the best ones haven't been written yet." As for whether Susan herself is ready to give love another shot, she winked. "Honey, I'm single, fabulous, and know how to make a mean martini. What more could you want?" With that, she tossed her perfectly blown-out hair, took a sip from her bedazzled wine glass, and signed off with what's quickly becoming her catchphrase, "Stay golden, darling." And just like that, Susan Noles didn't just spill the tea. She brewed the whole pot and served it with style. Would you like a follow-up story where Theresa responds to Susan's tell-all?